incontrovertibly, he's one of the most popular politicians locally, nationally, and internationally. Can I call on Lord Ahmed Abroadullah?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My brothers, Abdul Qayyum Saab, Ashfaq Kiani Saab, Haji Ghulam Nabi Saab, Deputy Leader, Councillor Jangir Akhtar Saab, Councillor Maroof Saab, Councillor Talib Saab, Sean, Paul, Cash, everybody, all the elders and my friends, Assalamu Alaikum. Let me first of all say thank you very much to both Ashfaq Kiani and of course Qayyum Bhai for organizing this dinner. And when Master Bashir Saab was speaking, he said, "You must be very proud, Lord Nazir, of these two." I really am very proud of them. They are my brothers, and actually all of you here and those beyond this room in South Yorkshire, in Yorkshire, in the UK, those who have been giving me support, I'm very grateful and I'm indebted to them. I want to say thank you to each and every speaker who said wonderful things about me. Let me assure Sean Wright that on 15th of November, whatever date it is, we will be there and we will support you and you will become the next commissioner. That's unconditional, Sean. That's unconditional. But there is one condition. When you win after 14th of November, you have to come back and celebrate with the community. And as the commissioner.
And work with the community.
Voting is unconditional, but when he wins, which he will, then he has to come and celebrate with us. I'm very grateful to all the brothers who've spoken, and I know that there are other friends who would have spoken, like Councillor Maroof and Councillor Talib Saab and others who've not been able to speak. I'm very grateful to everyone. Raja Saab always phoned me during these difficult few weeks, always supported me and said he wants to make a statement. He wants to run a campaign. And, you know, there are lots of people here who've done it. I think on this particular case, I do feel that it's very contrary to our British tradition. Paul, normally, in our society, you are innocent until proven guilty. In my case, I was guilty and I had to prove my innocence. That hurts a little bit. And when Councillor Jangir Akhtar has said that it was an administrative suspension, he's right. I love the Labour Party and I've been a member of the Labour Party since I was 18. And of course, during that time, I've always been loyal to the Labour Party and I will remain so. I have to say though, that after my peerage, it's not the Labour Parties that's given me. My peerage was something. After God, it was the Labour Party that gave me that peerage. But after 9/11, we've been at odds with each other. Because war on terror, the war in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq, our policies when it comes to Israel and Palestine, our policies when it comes to lots of places where I see the double standards, that we have one voice, we have one view. That's not a common view within the Labour Party, but the leadership has a different type of opinion. And the way the leadership sort of pursues those policies, that's not a reflection on the Labour Party membership. And I just had and by the way, Eddie Saab, it's not Steve Bassam. Steve Bassam had nothing. He's a great man. Really, he's a great man. It was a junior official who made the decision. It was the General Secretary. I've never met him. I don't know what he looks like. And I've no intention of meeting him either. I've absolute no desire to meet him. And I tell you something. I talked to Steve Bassam, and I can say this amongst friends, that because I have written a letter to the General Secretary, and I have said some of those things that were mentioned earlier on, that whilst I note what the Labour Party has done, I also note the fact that had the Labour Party not reacted, this would not have made news. This whole action by the Labour Party made news in over 700 newspapers and television channels around the world. And that actually shows that, thank God, in those 700 places, people know who Lord Ahmed is, or Lord Nazir Ahmed is. But it's sad that on occasions, the Labour Party has not been, I don't know, I think it's these, you know, Oxbridge boys that sort of like, they're very good in their theory, but they're practical. Their real test of knowing the communities is not very good. Because when I brought Gillian Gibbons back, it was the Labour government that was in power. I tried to talk to David Miliband, and I tried to talk to the Prime Minister at that time. Both of them were not interested, and both of them refused to answer my telephone call. Saida called David Cameron and William Hague. Both of them said, if Nazir would let you take credit, we, the Tory party, want to take the credit, and we support you both. And they did. When I came back, I brought Gillian Gibbons back, and I allowed Saida and the Tory press officer to run the story so she takes the credit. And it was David, I'm telling you this first time, David Cameron and William Hague called me in their office to say thank you. Had a cup of tea with me and said, Nazir, thank you for taking Saida, thank you for bringing Gillian Gibbons back, and thank you for doing this for our country. I tell you one thing, a few days later, I was in Downing Street because it was an Eid party, and our Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, had invited us and lots of cabinet ministers. Gordon Brown mentioned lots of people in the room, and I was right there, and I'd done something which was huge around the world. And the Guardian actually did an article on that by saying that what a shame that the Labour Prime Minister could not recognise one of his peers who had become a national hero by bringing Gillian Gibbons back, but because I disagreed on the policy on Iraq and Afghanistan, because I spoke out for the Palestinians, it was a deliberate attempt to try and ignore me. I wasn't, and I'm not in the Labour Party, because the Labour leadership somehow has this great respect for me or even want me in the Labour Party. I tell you something, if I had been in the Labour Party and had gone to Bradford, Labour would not have lost that Bradford seat. And this is first time I'm saying this, Haji Sahib. If I was not in the Labour Party, if Labour Party does not lose 20 seats because I go to 20 constituencies, they will certainly lose 5 seats where I will go and I will talk to my communities. Yes. I don't want to do that, but I think the Labour Party also needs to understand, I don't want to isolate majority, the great majority of over 300-400 British Muslim councillors, and literally, and I know, Chaudhry Sahib, you'd be laughing that I could come to your party. I would never join your party, by the way. I wouldn't join any political party. But I do feel angry that when Tom Watson, maybe he said, well, he did say, hold your nose and vote for Ken. But Alan Sugar very clearly instructed his community not to vote for Ken Livingstone. He was the official candidate, only because Ken Livingstone supports the Palestinians. And Lord Decide said the same. It's all on record, it's all reported. Just the same as I was misquoted, they were properly quoted because nobody's ever challenged them. But they were not suspended. I was. To be honest, nothing could happen. God forbid. Nothing could happen. Labour Party can't give me anything anymore now because I don't have a desire to become a minister. I don't have a desire to become the leader of the party or anything within the party. I don't want anything from the party. Really, I don't. It's the party that needs me, and it's time that the party actually recognize. I said this to the chief whip. He was trying to sort of like the usual, you know, the whips, bullying tactics, you know, to say, oh, I think you need to be thankful to the Labour Party. I said the party needs to apologise for what they've done. And quite frankly, and then I said to him, quite frankly, all it takes is one big article in the national newspapers and you will know where you stand. I don't want to do that. I love the party more than my personal, you know, egos or anything like that. But what I do think that people because you see, they don't understand, those people on Victoria Street in our headquarters don't actually understand that if you have, I've got nothing, I have greatest respect for all religions. And the Ahmadiyya community, they have the greatest respect for me as far as I'm concerned as a different religious community. Nothing to do with Muslims or Islam. And if you send somebody from the Ahmadiyya community to go and talk to the Muslims in Bradford to see why they didn't vote, well, God help you, Labour Party, because you don't understand the party. You don't understand the community. That's exactly what they did last week. And that actually shows how naive some people are in London. They need to learn. But tonight we are here to enjoy dinner. I was getting Paul, this is not you know, we're really here to celebrate, and I should have been in London, like you both. What have you done to your bathrooms? You both having your bathrooms done. I'm going to go. I should have gone to London because there was a janazah and a khatam somewhere which is very important, but anyway, because with all my elders and my brothers who always support me on regular basis, I could not possibly go. And just want to say to you, watch this space, because I will fight within the Labour Party now. You know, since 9/11, war on terror, 90 days, Iraq, Afghanistan, Palestine, double standards, I've sort of like done it within and in a low profile. I won't do it, because if they can humiliate me in public, really I don't have anything to lose. Nobody can throw me out of the House of Lords, God forbid, and nobody can stop my voice, which those 700 plus newspapers know already that I'm there. And I could do more damage than I can in terms of doing other things. And I'd rather these things settle in, you know, if I have done anything wrong, well, I am critical of the policy